Like any good video essay about an unnecessarily niche subject matter, I shall begin with a quote that's only tangentially related to the subject matter. The best weapon of a dictatorship is secrecy, but the best weapon of democracy should be the weapon of openness. Niels Bohr. Well done, lads! For a second time, Germany has gotten a proper trouncing, and Italy has been suitably whacked. Thanks to British air power, American industry, French moral support, and an ungodly amount of death and sacrifice from the Soviet Union, Europe is free once again. These sacrifices to eradicate fascism in the world has resulted in a new Europe for a new world, and fascism will never prevail again. You know, lads, I just realised we forgot to check in on how that whole Spanish Civil War ended. I wonder how they got along. Oh, fuck. Hey, guys, maybe we should do something about Spain. They've become a fascist dictatorship. Yeehaw! You better surrender, you damn commies! Duh. Try me, you American prick. Oh, shit. But how did Spain end up this way? Spain had a strong and varied socialist force. Surely fascism couldn't spread there. And what about the Western powers? They just spent 6 years and most of their economic strength to eradicate fascism. Surely they wouldn't just let it live in Spain. Well, let's crack open our history books and start learning about one of the most forgotten European nations in the modern era, Spain. Spain is a weird country in Europe. In Western teachings of history, the entire nation falls off the face of relevancy after Napoleon's failed invasion in 1808. And, just as well, Spain's economy also fell off the face of the earth. And, just to boot, their massive colonial empire that controlled most of the Americas all declared independence, and they couldn't do anything to stop it. And by 1898, they had lost all of their non-African colonies. So, where do I start this? Okay, let's see. End of Napoleonic Wars. The reign of Isabella I. The Glorious Revolution that failed miserably. The First Spanish Republic, Bourbon Restoration. Yes, those Bourbons, guillotined in France Bourbons, they ruled Spain. Aha! Got it. Second Spanish Republic. So, TLDR, Spain had been ruled by several flavors of monarchy since Napoleon's Vietnam that did just about, nothing to help the people. So, with the absolute economic destruction that came in the post-World War I world, the Bourbon monarchy lost support from the urban populations and fled the country following the 1921 municipal elections. Such a weak-ass way for a monarch to be deposed. Local elections. As a result, a second Spanish Republic was declared on the 14th of April, 1921, with the Pact of San Sebastian, a moderate liberal coalition forming a provisional government under Nicito Zamora. Their first job? Make a constitution. Sounds easy enough. Let's see. Universal suffrage, universal free education, a nationalization of church land, right of civil marriage and divorce, freedom of religion, barring Catholic religious education, and establishing a separation of powers. Well, this seems great. I hope the rest of the government likes it. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that sounds okay. Dude, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you picking on the Catholics? Well, you know, they hold a lot of power over the populace, and, they aren't subject to any governmental oversight. If anything, they're subject to more oversight from a foreign power. Dude! We are Catholics! We all are! That's it, I'm done with this BS, I'm out! I'm sure that'll be fine. All in favour? And it's passed. So, yeah, Having your leader resign before elections have even been held is not a good sign. Oh, and now the church has denounced your government for your opposition to the church. I'm sure it's all good. Anyway, time for elections! And Manuel Aznar has been elected as the first Prime Minister of Spain as part of a Socialist-Republican coalition between liberal Republicans and radical socialists. Aznar implemented a couple of reforms, a bit of land distribution here, some military reform there, some measures to limit the church over there. Everything would be smooth sailing from here. Coup alert! I repeat, coup alert! Someone is trying to overthrow the government! Oh wait, never mind. They failed miserably. Who did it? Oh, San Giorgio. Oh yeah, a general in the military? Yeah, I'm sure he won't be a problem in the future. Let's just send him off to Portugal. They don't have anything better to do. Now, we've passed a super progressive constitution, given women the right to vote, held an election, and even thwarted a military coup attempt. Doing a pretty good job here. Everything should be good from now on. Ah, what time is it again? Oh, yes, election time. Surely nothing bad will happen. Let's see. And the Confederation of the Autonomous Right, or CEDA, have won. Oh, well, they don't sound too bad. Oh, fuck! Okay, we are not letting them in government, said President Nicito, who instead invited the moderate left Republicans to form a government. Can we be in government? No. Can we be in government now? No. Can we please be in government? Right, you shits. I can do 3 ministers and no more. Deal. Great. I'm sure the coalition can understand this move. Oh, fuck! Ah, no! Yeah, no, the coalition did not like this one bit. Like, it was exceptionally bad. The socialists started an insurrection, the communists and trade unions called a general strike, the Catalonians declared an independent government. Oh, and just to top it off, miners in northern Spain were trying to form anarchist communes, and several massacres against clergy and landowners were perpetuated. All of these were eventually put down, but Jesus Christ! Clearly this was a sign that Spain was a very stable country. But I'm sure the worst is behind everyone, right? Anyway, what's next on the agenda? Oh yeah, another election. Wait, what the fuck? The 1936 election was an absolute goddamn nightmare. Political violence widespread, massacres frequent. And who would win? Well, the broad leftist coalition called the Popular Front. Despite being composed of communists, social democrats, liberals, republicans, Catalan nationalists, trade unionists, and anarchists, and despite having an immensely broad and surprisingly radical collection of parties, the coalition itself maintained a relatively moderate platform. I'm sure that will calm the population. Coup alert! Coup alert! This time for real! Oh, who could be leading this try? If it was anything like the last, it should be, San Giorgio? Oh, for fuck's sake! Sir, what will we do? San Giorgio's taken over nearly the entire western half of the country and is marching right here. Remember those socialist miners? Give them guns. And so began the Spanish Civil War, which was a brutal and violent war, with an estimated 300,000 to 400,000 people dying during the war. Several main factions formed within the two major camps of the Nationalists and the Republicans. Within the Nationalists, a strong monarchist clique formed, the Alfonso monarchists, who wanted to restore the previously exiled monarchy, and the Carlist monarchists, who wanted to restore a different monarch from the same family that people somehow still cared about, and blah 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 blah. Honestly, these people were just kind of kooky. There was also a large group of fascists called the Phalange, who wanted to create a fascist state under a strong dictatorship. How could any of these groups ever agree to fight with each other? Two things. One, the Catholic Church. On the long list of very shitty things the Catholic Church has done in its history, the never-ending support of the Nationalists is not one that gets commonly mentioned. Nearly all the factions that were part of the Nationalists were intensely Catholic, and many saw the Civil War as a crusade against communists who wished to destroy Catholicism. The second great unifier was General Francisco Franco. Franco was a Spanish general who led the uprising in Spanish Morocco. Following the death of San Giorgio in a plane crash, and the death of most of the original nationalist leadership, Franco was able to insert himself as commander-in-chief of the nationalist forces, and was able to unite the disparate political factions into a much more unified force. He made a simple declaration. Fellas, I can now say we are officially fascist and monarchist. Could you tell us who, though? Yeah, like that's the whole reason we hate each other. Ah, nah, fellas. I'll tell you later. Bye! Well, I'm satisfied. So, I wonder how the Republicans are doing. Right. Well, who do we have at least? The Republicans? Oh, well, surely they will have a big role, and they resign. Shit. Well, at least they lead the remaining military. And yet, no, they are completely ineffective. To really highlight how useless the Republicans were, Miguel de Unamuno, a novelist and writer who was disenfranchised with the unfolding events of the Civil War, told a reporter that President Manuel Aznar should commit suicide as a patriotic act. So yeah, the Republicans are not doing well. So who else do we have? Well, we have the Communists, the PCE, or Communist Party of Spain, and the POUM, or Workers' Party of Marxist Unification. But don't be fooled! These two communist groups viscerally hate each other because one is a Moscow bootlicker who wants to be under the boot of the Comintern, and the other one is a Trotskyite revisionist scum who wishes to undermine the progress of the revolution. So yeah, they're busy. In fairness, they probably formed the biggest backbone of the Republican forces, but infighting between these two groups was common. Right, anyone else? Oh, yeah, the anarchists in Catalonia. The anarchists, usually rallying around the CNT, an anarcho-syndicalist union, whatever that is, and the FAI, a pan-Iberian anarchist federation, led an autonomous force to fight the nationalists. Odd digression, but both the CNT and the FAI have blogs that are still up to date, even today. It's so weird that these historical organizations continue on into the modern day. Anyway, I'm sure the anarchists will play an important role in the war, and will lead the world's most successful anarchist society, and they'll be purged by the communists. God damn it, no wonder these fuckers lost. Now, let's take a look at the war room in 1936 for the Republicans. Now, where would you, person watching this video, attack? Maybe here? Or here? These spots would make a lot of sense. What did the Republicans do? Well, they didn't attack. They just fortified Madrid. Why? Well, mostly because they thought that Madrid would be a great propaganda boost if they could hold it. Spoiler alert, they didn't. Although the socialist faction did expend great effort to defend the capital, most of the Republican government fled Madrid and set up shop overseas. It is important to always recall the human impact that the Civil War had on the populace and the civilians who were just trying to live safely. Thanks to the second-hand testimony from a friend of mine whose grandfather lived through the war, I can help show the true horror of the fighting. What he remembers about the Franco era is the stories of people just being dragged out of their homes and shot in the head, and the mass grave burials. My grandpa did not talk about those things, and when he did, it was because of indignation or sorrow filled him. But yeah, mass graves, killing for just power runs, fear of the civil corpse, they were always armed, and if they wanted, they'd just shoot. In my grandpa's case, it was a town in Castilla, a very tiny one, a miner's town, so even less probable for anyone to have knowledge or any way to say anything, so they did what they wanted. In towns, it was more usual to shoot ask later, and in the cities, the ask then shoot equally. Anyway, skipping over the actual Civil War, because who really cares about that, we end up with Franco being in charge of a military dictatorship in a ravaged country that brutally oppresses anyone moderately left of let's give women rights eventually. This would become known as the White Terror. No, not that one in Russia. Or that one in Hungary. Yeah, the one in Spain. God, fascists are really bad at creativity. As with any good massacre, nobody can really agree on the death toll, and it's argued to be anywhere between 50,000 to 200,000 deaths. Either way, big fucking yikes. But why didn't the Western powers do anything about this? Simple. Spain sold some land to the US for military bases, and declared themselves neutral in the Cold War, and everyone just kinda left them alone. They also would go on to join the UN in 1955, and would grant their colonies independence as they were too much of a burden on them, but outside of that, they just maintained a relatively low profile. Anyway, if you remember the nationalists that were surprisingly unified, it's now time to stop them from imploding in on themselves by announcing who will be king. Finally, Franco will announce who will be the king. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be Alfonso. Nah, it'll be the Carlists. I want the Liechtensteiners. Fellas! I can finally announce the new monarch. It will be not the Carlists or the Alfonsoists. It'll be the former king's son, who I will personally train in the ways of being a massive racist. Fine. Juan Carlos I was announced to be crowned king once Franco had died. In the meantime, Franco would train Juan in the Francoist ways of ruling and in guiding a strong, fascist state. And then Franco died! All in favour of being fascist pigs? All opposed? Right, no more fascism. And so Franco's dictatorship was brought to an end simply by voting it out of existence. Well, also staving off the military from just coupping the government, and creating a broad democratic coalition of people with various different ideologies so that the government would not immediately fall to infighting. But, mostly just voting it out of existence. The end. So what did you learn, Lil Timmy? Democracy is a fragile notion that must work with the devoted force of both people and politicians so that a better future can be achieved for all, prioritizing the well-being of the population first and foremost? No, dummy! Spain is a weird place!